Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. This is your number one destination for World Cup 2026 match breakdowns and highlights. So hit that subscribe button right now and let's get into it, because we have a historic night for Norwegian football to break down from Dallas, Texas. Norway defeated Ivory Coast 2-1 in a dramatic, breathless, beautifully contested round of 32 clash at AT&T Stadium on Tuesday. And the headline from this match, the headline that will be talked about for years in Norwegian football history, is that Erling Haaland scored the winning goal in the 86th minute to send his nation into the round of 16 for the very first time. Antonio Nusa gave Norway the lead with a stunning effort in the 39th minute. Amad Diallo, the Manchester United forward, one of the most exciting young players at this entire tournament, equalized brilliantly in the 74th minute. Ivory Coast, on the other hand, had written one of the most beautiful stories of this entire 2026 World Cup just to reach this round of 32 moment. The Elephants, making history by reaching the knockout rounds of a World Cup for the very first time in their entire existence as a footballing nation, had been absolutely magnificent in Group E. A hard-fought 1-0 win over Ecuador through substitute Amad Diallo's late goal on matchday 1. A brave 2-1 defeat to Germany on matchday 2. And then that glorious 2-0 win over Curaçao featuring Nicolas Pepe's brace to secure their historic second-place finish with 6 points. Manager Hervé Renard, the legendary French coach who had already won the Africa Cup of Nations with 2 different countries, had built a squad brimming with quality. Teenager Yen Diomande had been one of the revelations of the entire group stage. Nicolas Pepe had rediscovered the devastating form of his very best years. And goalkeeper Yahia Fofana had been superb throughout. Ivory Coast were not here to simply enjoy the occasion. They were here to win. And for 74 glorious minutes inside AT&T Stadium on Tuesday, it genuinely looked like they might. The first half in Dallas was tight and intense, with Ivory Coast actually enjoying the better of the opening exchanges. Pepe had a shot that stung the palms of goalkeeper Orjan Nyland early on. Yen Diomande, that brilliant young midfielder, was everywhere in the first half, and Ivory Coast were pressing high and making Norway uncomfortable with their technical quality and energetic forward play. Haaland was largely quiet despite the Norwegian attack creating openings. Ivory Coast goalkeeper Yahia Fofana made a superb save to deny him in one of his clearest first-half chances. But then in the 39th minute, just before the halftime whistle, Norway struck. Antonio Nusa received the ball on the left side of the Ivory Coast penalty area, drove inward with real confidence, and then lifted a swinging, curling shot with his right foot that arched beautifully into the net, completely beyond a helpless Fofana's reach. 1-0 Norway. AT&T Stadium was buzzing, the Norwegian supporters on their feet in full voice, and Nusa, just 20 years old, celebrated with the composure and joy of a player who knew exactly what he had done. 1-0 at the break. Norway ahead. Ivory Coast with everything to do in the second half. And the second half brought with it a completely different Ivory Coast. Hervé Renard made bold changes at the break, bringing on fresh energy and attacking intent, and the Elephants came out of the tunnel transformed. Wave after wave of Ivorian attacks crashed against the Norwegian defense, Nyland making a crucial save at one stage from a dangerous Diomande shot. And then in the 74th minute came the equalizer that the Ivory Coast had absolutely deserved. Amad Diallo, already one of the tournament's most exciting young players, already the scorer of a crucial goal against Ecuador in the group stage, received the ball on the right side of the box after a brilliant give and go with Nicolas Pepe, did a tiny shimmy to create half a yard of space, and then buried a composed left-footed strike past Nyland and into the bottom corner. 1-1. AT&T Stadium erupted. Amad Diallo sprinted away in pure joy, sliding on his knees towards the Ivorian supporters in the stands, teammates mobbing him from all directions. Ivory Coast were level, Norway were rocking. And with 16 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, the Elephants had real momentum and a real belief that they could complete one of the great comebacks of this round of 32. But football is a game of moments. And the moment that decided everything came in the 86th minute. Patrick Berg, the Norwegian midfielder, tireless throughout, picked up the ball on the right side of the pitch and drove forward before whipping a low, precise cross into the Norwegian penalty area. And there was Erling Haaland, arriving perfectly, reading the ball magnificently, who got his left foot to it and flicked the ball with a casual, assured touch past Fofana and into the back of the net. 2-1. Erling Haaland. Norway win. The Norwegian bench erupted. Haaland wheeled away with his arms spread wide open, roaring into the Dallas night sky, teammates sprinting from all directions to celebrate with him. The goal ended what had been a genuinely frustrating and quiet afternoon by Haaland's superhuman standards. But the most important thing was not the manner of the goal, not the ease of the finish, it was the timing. In the 86th minute, with IvoryCoast pushing desperately for a winner, Erling Haaland arrived to break hearts and make history. Full time, IvoryCoast 1, Norway 2. And what a result, and what a night for Norwegian football. Norway are in the World Cup round of 16 for the very first time in their history. Their previous best knockout performance had been a quarter-final appearance way back in 1938. Erling Haaland now has 5 goals at this 2026 World Cup in just 3 appearances, and with a round of 16 clash against Brazil in New Jersey on July 5th awaiting. Yes, Brazil. The stage is set for one of the most extraordinary individual matchups this tournament has ever seen. Haaland versus Vinicius Jr. Haaland versus Casemiro. Norway versus the 5-time world champions. For IvoryCoast, the heartbreak is real, but the achievement is historic and remarkable. A nation that had never before reached the knockout rounds of a World Cup, eliminated in the round of 32 by a late Haaland goal, but leaving Dallas with their heads held high, knowing they made history just by being here and fighting until the very final minute. The 2026 World Cup round of 16 is coming, and it is going to be absolutely electric. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, share this video with all your football-loving friends, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our World Cup content. I will see you in the next one. Let's go!